for our second topic for today, it's going to be Cam Newton and his response to all the not getting. And now what we've got right now is Cam Newton, as most people have heard, he's complaining about the non-calls he's getting. You watched the game against Arizona this weekend. You saw the was broken where Calais Campbell hit him below the knee in the pocket while he's throwing, which is what knocked Brady out a few years back, and which hence came the Brady rule where you can't hit a quarterback below the knee in the pocket. But right in front of the referee, no flag was thrown. Now, if you watched it, I don't think it was malicious at all. I don't think he intended to try to hurt Cam. I think he was falling down. He was losing his balance. He was trying to make the play. And happens when those hits happen, but even though it's not malicious, it still gets called. It might not be the intent to hit him below the knee, but you still hit him below the knee. It's not so much your intent, it's the action that actually happened, which is what we've seen with so many other quarterbacks, with Drew Brees, with Andy Dalton, with Kirk Cousins, with Tom Brady, Carson Palmer. These guys, if they get hit in the pocket like that, there's going to be a call. The main thing I've seen from most people is, oh, well, he's just so big. That's why. That's bull crap, man. That's bull crap. The only person as far as size and athleticism would be Big Ben, and he gets that same type of stuff. That he gets hit like crazy. But if he gets hit below the knee, they're calling. If he gets hit in the head, or looks like he's getting hit in the head, they're calling that. Now, when he's outside the pocket and he's running, that's a different story. That's a gray area because he's looking like a runner. He's already bigger than everybody. He's faster than everybody. But when he's in the pocket, protect him. He was the MVP. As much as people hate that he was the MVP of the last year, he was the MVP of the league. Guys of that caliber get protection, whether we like it or not. In the NBA, it was called the Jordan calls, where you breathe on Jordan, it was a call. You breathe on Kobe, it's a call. In the NFL, it's quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, he got those calls. He just look at a ref. The guy hit me. There's a flag. Tom Brady, same thing. There's a flag. You protect those guys, and he's not getting that same protection. Now, I think the way he came about it was a little wrong. What he started talking about is not feeling safe. And you're in a barbaric sport as football. You can't say at any moment that you don't feel safe. Like, people are going to take that as a sign of weakness that you don't feel safe. He can't say that. I think he's absolutely correct, though, in saying that teams are teeing off on him. Like on that the Thursday night game to open the season opener against my Broncos, we teed off on him. In the head, we were hitting him low. We were hitting him in the pocket. Every chance we got, we were hitting him. But the reason is because we're not getting those. He's not getting those calls. He's not getting those calls. It doesn't matter who he's playing. He doesn't get those calls while the opposing quarterback does. Now, like I said before, I can't really say too much about outside the pocket. There's not too much you can do about that. But when he's in the pocket and he's taking those hits, because his line isn't that good. Mike Reimers has been getting crushed again. Ever since that Super Bowl, he's been getting crushed by everybody. And he's getting smashed left and right in the pocket. Calls, late hits, shots to the chest. Like, there's no reason why Drew Brees or more personal fouls or roughing the passers than Cam Newton when he's getting smashed, and we see it every single game. We see that he's getting smashed. Even if he's bigger, you can still see he's getting hit. So you make those calls. And any other time, whether it's a defenseless receiver or anything, the referee's going to err on the side of caution and throw the flag. But with Cam Newton, we don't see that. I don't understand why. I won't pretend to know a reason why that's happening. But at this time, he's not getting those calls. And he did go talk to Goodell in case they had a phone call today. But there's no real way to pinpoint why it's happening. But it needs to stop. He needs to start getting these calls. Much as people hate to see it, he is the face of the league, the MVP or a Super Bowl contender. So he should be getting these calls.
Well, I'm not sure they're a Super Bowl contender anymore, but I would say that I agree with you. I think the common thread though is his size and the fact that it doesn't look like it's hurting him. And the fact that, let's be honest, like Cam, I'm not gonna say he hasn't done himself any favors, but in the mind of some, the press conference, the fact that he said being a black quarterback, and I went there, being a black quarterback, people don't like that. He's not going to gain any sympathy from anyone. I personally don't feel that way. But in the minds of some, and then when it sounded like he was crying because he wasn't getting the hits, people are going to look at him similar to how they look at LeBron and say, you're so much bigger and more physically imposing than everyone. You don't get to complain about that. The problem that I have is, and again, I don't think it's race, because I don't always think Ben gets those calls. Ben's not athletic as Cam either, so I want to put that out there. But Ben doesn't always get those calls. Ben gets killed sometimes. But because of his size, like, it doesn't really look like it. I agree that he should get more calls. I don't necessarily know that just from a public perception point, he should be the one caping for it, because it doesn't make him look good based on other things that he said and how he's been perceived by others. I don't think that it's a good look for him to do that. I think that his coach, Ron Rivera, I think that maybe his GM, I believe Gettleman is still the GM. I could be wrong there. I feel like somebody needs to cape for him. Then I heard, what was the offensive lineman's name? Marcus Gilbert, who said that he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't understand why he's complaining. Like, you could look at those hits and be like, yo, those aren't normal hits that he's taking. And I don't like how, if you're not gonna speak up in defense of him in this case, shut the hell up. Like, that kind of stuff just isn't necessary. You know what I mean? You play offensive line, yes, it's physical, but like, you're not getting hit every play. So no, I agree. The punishment that he gets is unfair. The way that it's been going about though, I don't necessarily think it's gonna look good from him from a public perception standpoint, just because of things that have been said in the past. Fair or unfair? And I believe it's unfair, but I think that someone else has to cape for him. I do.
I agree when it comes to Cam Newton not being the one to speak up for himself. I think it definitely would help if someone does, take up his cause. I agree with you that if you're not going to help, you should shut up. I don't know why Marcus Gilbert, who plays for a team with a quarterback who also takes a lot of hits,
exactly,
gets the calls. He's the guy who speaks up. I mean, they've consistently had a below average or average at best offensive line since Ben's been there. And part of that, of course, is him holding the ball for a long time. But also, that was what I was going to say. Ben is the closest comparison in size, like you said, Lentz, but he's a guy who holds the ball for a really long time. A lot of the hits that he takes are because of the fact that there are people barreling down on him as he's getting rid of the ball because he's had it for 4 or 5 seconds. Cam's not really in that same situation, and it's obvious, like you said, a lot of the hits that he's taken have just been illegal. I agree with you. Going back to that Denver game, it looked like they were just hitting him any kind of way because they felt like they could get away with it. One stat that I read, and it was early in the year, I can't remember the exact stat, but I believe to this point in his career as a starter, he's only drawn 5 personal foul penalties, which is insane. When you think about how much and how often he gets hit, there's no way. I'm pretty sure the average starting quarterback draws more than that in a year. There's no way anybody's even close to that low that's been starting for as long as he has. So it's hard to look at the numbers, look at what happened and say that he's getting a fair deal. And I hear the same thing about him being so big, so it probably doesn't hurt him. But that's not the point. The rules aren't there to protect people who are getting hurt. The rules to protect people who play a certain position. They put these rules in because they want to protect quarterbacks. not small quarterbacks. They're not just trying to protect Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. They're trying to protect quarterbacks. So if they want to show that, first off, player safety matters, and second off, that they want to be equal, they have to treat each player equally. You can't look at a guy and say, well, he's 6 inches and 50 pounds heavier than Russell Wilson. It probably doesn't hurt in the same way. It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And another point on this Cam Newton, on how he's officiating, you got to remember in the beginning of the season, after that Denver game, Thomas Davis came out and started speaking out about it. His own linebacker started, he's getting hit. And it's not just him getting, because before he was getting hit and he was taking those hits to the body. But now he's taking those hits to the head. He's taking those hits to the knees. And if you're a defender and you're a defender for the Panthers, you know that if you hit someone else like that, they're going to get the call. So why isn't your quarterback getting the same calls? Like, you got to protect. Everybody says, which I disagree with, quarterbacks run the league. It's a quarterback league. If you don't have a quarterback, you can't win. So why isn't this guy who was the MVP, the quote unquote best player in the league last year, who was voted number one as the player, number one player in the league by players? Why is he getting these calls? Why isn't he getting this protection? And I think it's more of that Shaq factor or LeBron factor, as Turner brought up, that he's just so much bigger. It doesn't look like it hurts. When you're bigger, when you're a bigger guy going against smaller guys, it doesn't look as bad. When Drew Brees gets hit and he falls, it looks painful because he's 2'2". So when he gets hit, it looks bad. So I think that's a huge contributor, but I just don't agree with that though, because like you said, Alan, the rules aren't in place to make, if it looks bad, defensive receivers, if it looks bad, then they're going to take the call. But you got to protect these guys in the pocket. Now, when he's outside the pocket, I got to say it's fair game, man. He's 6'5", 260. You outside the pocket, you can take off running at any time and be faster than most of the players you're going against on your defense. So that's fair game. But when he's in the pocket, in between those tackles, they have to protect him. There's no choice. They have to.
Yeah, I agree. Outside of the tackle, when he breaks out, I don't really have a problem. It isn't like it was with Michael Vick, when he takes a hit and goes flying out of bounds and gets no calls. Most of the time when he's out of the pocket, when Cam get hit, like you said, the guy was hitting him is smaller than he is. Obviously, there's still rules against that, so I'd like to see it called even. But, when you're a runner, things change. And I think sometimes he forgets that Robert Griffin was kind of in that same boat. They think because they're quarterbacks, they need to be protected. Obviously, he's a little bit more durable than Robert Griffin is, a lot more durable than Robert Griffin is.
I was about to say he's a lot more durable than Robert Griffin, not just a little bit.
But, both of those guys kind of in the same category that basically get, like, once you break out of the pocket and become a runner, you don't have the same protections. I don't think there's really been a lot of incongruence around the league when you're looking at quarterbacks that get out of the pocket. I think they all kind of get the same treatment. It's just there's a number of guys who don't like that treatment. They feel like they should have the same protection, and that's just not the case. But when he's in the pocket, I think there's a lot of change that needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely with y'all on all points. We're agreeing a lot tonight, so I don't know what's going on. We need to find something to disagree on. But yeah, and I just really feel that I don't necessarily think this is a case of him speaking on it is bringing awareness to it in a good way. I feel like y'all remember the whole thing with the Ed Hockley ageism thing back in the day when he was talking about calls and Ed basically Cam allegedly said that Ed said that you haven't been in the league long enough to request that. That's why I don't necessarily think him caping for himself is doing him good. Again, not his fault or anything like that. Not his fault, but I just think that him caping for himself isn't the best thing in this case.
I tell you what, I would love to see other quarterbacks kind of take up his case. Like if Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Eli Manning, unfortunately, he's one of the last like big names out there. If one of those, if one of those guys came out there and said, "Yeah, I've been watching the games and Cam gets abused," it'd be really hard for the NFL to deny it. You know, when Cam Newton's the only quarterback that's coming out and saying it, it doesn't have the same power as it would if somebody else came out and agreed with him. I don't really see that happening, but I would love it if it did.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't see why they would do that, because they're getting calls. So why do they care what Cam Newton's is getting or not getting? I mean, that's a 2-5 team. I'm worried about my team. I'm worried about my linebacker who's getting traded to the Browns for a fourth round pick. So I mean, screw Cam Newton. He can't do nothing for me. He goes, hell, I got to go against him twice a year, so I hope he don't get those calls.
Right. The more he gets hit, the better for your defense.
But I do believe someone else has to speak up for him. It's with anything. It's a catch-22 because nobody knows about your problem if you don't say it. But if you say it, then you're whining it. So
right.
Good with the bad, I suppose.
Or just the bad by itself in this case. But I honestly think it'll change, but it'll be a little while. Maybe once he hits 30 and he's starting to get hurt, they'll care.